Tanzanians voted in presidential and parliamentary elections on Wednesday amid concerns over legitimacy of the process. President John Magufuli and his ruling CCM party look set for a landslide victory, but the opposition said it would reject the outcome, citing fraud such as ballot box stuffing. The near-certain victory will further cement the power of a party which has led the country since independence in 1961 and is accused of sliding into an autocracy under Magufuli, who has cracked down on the opposition and free speech. Magufuli voted on the outskirts of the capital Dodoma, where his arrival was announced over loudspeakers. But opposition candidate Tundu Lissu slammed widespread irregularities.
We will not accept anything coming out of yesterday's voting because it was marred by irregularities at all stages.
The opposition ACT party in semi-autonomous Zanzibar showed journalists ballot papers that had been pre-marked for the ruling party, which they said were found at polling stations. The election took place with little monitoring from foreign observers, and most international media were unable to gain accreditation to cover voting on the mainland. In a statement, the US Embassy said irregularities and the overwhelming margins of victory raise serious doubts about the credibility of the results. With results partially in, there was mixed reaction on the street.
Matokeo nimeyapokea vizuri kwa sababu kwanza tume ya uchaguzi imefanya mazingira mazuri ambayo
I've received the results positively and I'm okay with them because the Commission has done an excellent job without any problems. The ruling party's won and that's how democracy is.
Na chama tawala iko imeshinda sawa kwa sababu ndio demokrasia tulio.
Kusema kweli matokeo sio mazuri sana kwa sababu
I'm not happy with the results because it means we will only have one party, which is the ruling party. We have no opposition party in Tanzania and it shouldn't be like that. That's very unfair.
Uchaguzi sioni kama utakuwa kuna uchaguzi ambao ulifanyika, haiwezekani.
Ivory Coast's marathon election campaign of death and political intrigue culminates in the vote on October 31st. President Alassane Ouattara gave a last push for votes at his final rally on Thursday. That same day, a convoy carrying one of his campaign directors, who's also the Secretary General of the presidency, was sprayed with automatic gunfire outside the main city of Abidjan. No one was hurt, but the attack shows tensions around the election after Ouattara announced he would run for a controversial third term. He announced the decision after his chosen successor, Prime Minister Amadou Gon Coulibaly, died of a heart attack in July. The Ivorian constitution limits presidents to 2 terms, but Ouattara argues a new constitution passed in 2016 reset term limits, allowing him to run again. Political clashes have also recently spilled out into violence between ethnic groups, claiming around 30 lives over the last 3 months. In an interview with AFP, Ouattara blamed this violence on the opposition.
We have to stop sending young people to their deaths. You know, the investigations are going to go all the way, and all those who are responsible will go to court, whatever the rank of the person.
Meanwhile, ex-President Laurent Gbagbo, whose refusal to accept Ouattara's victory in 2010 sparked deadly clashes, predicted doom in the coming elections. Gbagbo gave his first public interview since 2011.
Ce qui nous attend, c'est la catastrophe, et c'est pourquoi je parle.
What awaits us is disaster, and that's why I'm talking, so that people know that I spoke, so that people know that I don't agree to go to any length towards disaster, so that people will know that I said there were alternatives.
J'ai dit qu'il y avait autre chose à faire.
In addition to Ouattara, 3 other candidates are vying for the top job. Former President Henri Konan Bédié and Ouattara's former ally Pascal Affi N'Guessan, who have both called for a boycott of the political process and didn't campaign. The 4th candidate, Kouadio Konan Bertin, has called on supporters to vote rather than resort to violence.
Each of you must take your ballot papers and go to the polls to say goodbye to Alassane Ouattara without anyone getting killed.
In anticipation of further clashes, 35,000 security forces have been deployed to maintain order during the election itself. There's concern that history may repeat itself. 3,000 people died in the 2010 clashes. 3 survivors of the shooting on protesters in the Nigerian city of Lagos have spoken of their experience that night. Samuel, Patrick and Solomon were wounded during a deadly crackdown by Nigerian security forces at the Lekki tollgate on the 20th of October.
All of a sudden, I just felt something hit me. And when it hit me on my left thigh, it damaged my phone. It was my phone that saved me. It would have penetrated more than that. Maybe it would have come out at the other side. But it damaged the phone. It was the phone that it first made that very day.
I feel so bad. I feel bad because it was army that came with Nigeria army uniform, Nigeria army gun, and Nigeria army vehicle. So how would they say it's not the army?
But for me, I'm not stopping. This is just the beginning of the protest. Because I need to fight a good fight for my kids, to say it. Because I need a better Nigeria. Not this one, promise and fail. I'm not ready for it anymore.
12 people were killed and many more injured that night, according to rights group Amnesty International. The government has denied any responsibility. Protesters across the Muslim world have taken to the streets against France over publication of cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad. Calls for a boycott of French products and vocal anti-France demonstrations also found echo in African countries. In Somalia, demonstrators blocked traffic in the capital Mogadishu, chanting slogans and burning effigies of French President Emmanuel Macron. Several thousand people gathered in Mali's Great Mosque in Bamako to denounce the statements. A small group of Libyans burned the French flag and portraits of Macron in the capital Tripoli. The French president has defended the right to mock religion after the beheading of schoolteacher Samuel Paty, who had shown his pupils cartoons of the Prophet. Amid heightened fears of Islamist violence, on Thursday, a Tunisian jihadist brutally killed 3 people with a knife in a church in Nice in southern France.